Hello and welcome. You're watching live stream. This is your show. We want to hear from you what you're thinking on the big stories of the day. What is going on in your mind? What are the questions you're raising? I beg your pardon. And more importantly, what are the solutions that you're looking for? Today when we've seen more online hate, but two completely different responses from companies, we're asking how should companies deal with online hate. 837708 8377 is our number. Call us in with your thoughts. For those of you just tuning in and trying to understand just what's happened, well, you have perhaps picked up snatches of it. I'm just going to give you some more details. First, with cab aggregator Ola, who was the victim of a hate tweet. Yes, more online hate by a handle that's followed by several ministers who said that he was cancelling his Ola cab because the driver was a Muslim. Yes, believe it or not, that is what that tweet said. This is a handle that was followed that is followed by several ministers. Well, there was of course a lot of hate on that, a lot of anger on seeing that tweet. People in fact pushed Ola to block this customer, but we saw a terrific response there from Ola, and the company is getting just so much kudos for that response, going on to say that they are a secular company just like the rest of the country, and that they are not discriminating between their drivers or their customers on the basis of, say, religion, caste, creed or so on. Now take a look at what's happened with Amazon. Amazon, no, it's not an Indian company, it's a foreign company, it's an American company, it's an e-com giant. Well, they deleted a tweet by Swara Bhaskar, the actress, after coming under attack. Again, a lot of online hate that came Swara Bhaskar's way, and some of it was Amazon's way also, for her position, which many have deemed is anti-Hindu, believe it or not, and have targeted Amazon for their association with her. She tweeted, tagged them, and they've gone ahead and deleted it, really washing their hands of it. So, is there any template on how companies deal with online hate? That is what we're looking at. 837708 8377 is our number. Remember that you can reach out to us on this number here. We are waiting for all your calls. Well, loads of reactions have begun coming in. I'm going to just go across to Meghna Pant, who is our guest for the evening, the author who's with us on the program. Meghna, thanks very much for taking our time to speak to us. But before I just hear from you, just give me a moment. I just want to go across to Sam Daniel, who's joining us from Chennai. Sam, you've got a whole host of people. You know, we are just all coming to terms with, you know, the anonymity on social media, or the fact that people say all kinds of horrible, nasty, vile, you know, threats are also given out, including of rape and death, and people just get away with it. But sometimes people just get together and call it out for what it is. So there's no template, but what does Chennai want to say this evening?
Thank you, Natasha. With me, Nizam at Techie, Nizam MDS, and Shalini Daga, a student. Thank you so much for your time. It's clear that often online e-commerce ventures become soft targets for online hatred. In this case, when you heard about the Ola situation, someone cancelling the ride because the driver happens to be Muslim, and Ola stood by the driver. How do you see this?
In this case, yes, Ola did stand by the driver, but like in previous circumstances where Ola has been targeted because of a Muslim driver, where they actually blocked the account of the user, here Ola actually took a soft stance and this said, okay, let's all respect everyone. India is a secular country, we are a secular platform, let's have respect for everyone. So that, I think, they became a little bit defensive compared to previous years.
Because of the political thing involved.
Absolutely.
In this.
I mean, like, they saw that the user Abhishek Mishra is very active on Twitter, and he claims that he is part of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, and he has some 14,000 followers, some of whom are a few ministers as well, defense minister and a few other people. And also he seems to be working in one of the ministries in Uttar Pradesh. So Ola saw this and they saw that, okay, fine, there is no point in blocking this account. What will happen is people will immediately go to Google Play Store, downgrade their app. It's very easy. You become angry with something. All you need to do is, you don't have to go to the roads to protest anymore. Right. You just take the app, you take the Play Store, use the app, then downgrade it, and then put out a tweet or a Facebook post saying that we are not going to be using it, and that influences other people as well.
Thank you so much. And when you read about the case of Swara Bhaskar and Amazon in this case, they pulled out the tweet they were promoting earlier. Do you think they should have stood for freedom of expression?
Definitely. I feel this is very unprofessional on the side of Amazon to not support Swara Bhaskar. In fact, keep her off this campaign which they had signed her up for, because apart from everything else, I mean, whatever she had tweeted or posted was her personal opinion or her personal take on matters, and this is a completely different thing. So Amazon shouldn't have taken any decision seeing her private, or her personal moves or opinions. Right. Although, yeah, public was offended by her posts or matters, that's her personal thing. I mean, Amazon should have taken her stand.
They can't be looking at purely their commercial interest. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, they cannot just look at a commercial interest. In fact, being a very international platform, they should support her freedom of expression.
When celebrities become ambassadors for commercial for companies, do you think they also sacrifice a bit of their personal stand in issues like this?
Absolutely. I mean, I think a few celebrities, let's say Swara Bhaskar may not be, she may not be the big celebrity as such, but then she is very outspoken. And even a few other actresses like Kareena and all, they all come up and they have spoken their mind. But a few celebrities like Amitabh Bachchan, he knows that speaking your mind means inviting trouble. So he stays out of it.
Thank you so much for your time. And Natasha, it's back to you.
Sam, thanks very much for those very articulate voices. A fair amount then. How should businesses react? Well, Ola's, of course, getting several thumbs up there. Well, we've got a caller. Meghna, just coming to you. We've got a caller this evening. This is Mr. Rahman. Go ahead, sir. You want to make a point?
Hi, Natasha.
Hi. Thanks for calling.
Natasha, my point is how we can stop these hate mongers. So I want to tell that we can't stop these people by asking them to shut up. Today it's him, tomorrow it will be someone, some other person. If we want to stop these hate mongers, we must force their bosses, to whom they listen, to speak up against this and tell them to stop it.
Okay, Meghna, come in here at this point. Thanks, Rahman. Point, just telling them to stay quiet is, of course, not going to be the answer. In fact, it acts as more fuel in a sense, Exactly. So how do we deal with it? As you've seen on Twitter, since we put that question out, Meghna, you've been tagged on some of those tweets. We're all conflicted. I mean, do we give them the oxygen that, they're craving for, publicity? Yeah. But staying silent is also complicit.
Exactly. I mean, Abhishek Mishra's modus operandi is pretty clear. He wants his 2 seconds of fame. And Natasha, what's really, really sad about our country today is that this is the level of discourse that has taken place. This is what makes national headlines. And it's so pitiful. His agenda is very, very clear. He's using hate mongering and hate speech in order to get his 2 seconds of fame. But at what cost? At the cost of creating divisive politics, at the cost of inducing further bigotry. The fact is that where we can come in and really put in our word is that we have to first ignore people like that. Social media sites really have to step up the game. They have to pull down accounts that are propagating hate speech, that are propagating bigotry, that are propagating sexism. The government has to set out strict guidelines as to what is undesirable content. So there are a lot of stakeholders at play here, and everybody has to be an equal stakeholder and feel equally responsible. Absolutely. Twitter saying that they're not going to delete Abhishek Mishra's account was in its own way endorsing his sort of pro-rapist stance and everything else that goes with it. So these are things that social media sites and the government have to examine.
Absolutely. And of course, what makes the story a new layer to the story is also the fact that all those following this account, I mean, these include many ministers as well. So they need to come out and sort of unfollow or be more careful. I mean, the minister who is following comes under scrutiny every now and then, and that goes for the ministers as well. Well, we've got another caller this evening. This is Manzoor. Manzoor, thanks for calling. You want to make a point?
Thanks. So this is Manzoor here. So there's two things we have posted about Ola and Amazon. I just want to comment on the few things. So now, before 2014, there was not much of the hate. After 2014, I can see a lot of hate between two major religions in this country. And you can see the post which person has put. He doesn't want to take Ola because he belongs to a certain community. Now, when we can, this has become a completely divided house. So I think if we continue with this country will become a divided house in a couple of years. We cannot, we have to condemn this, and there should be a strict law and order against this and against the people who post these kind of things, which will create disharmony in the society, which will create a communal disharmony in the society.
I know what you're saying.
Law and order.
Thanks for your time. I know what you're saying, and those are the concerns that all of us shared. Meghna, the other thing that comes to point, and I completely, of course, there's no question of disagreement there, but like we said, that people have to be careful who they follow, especially the Prime Minister, like said. And if you're a public figure, who you follow then comes under scrutiny. And I want to come back to the issue of just who controls social media, what are the kind of controls that we have on social media. The anonymity of it, the fact that you can say anything to anyone, just get away with it. And you shut down one account, another 20 will then rise, each one more vile than the other. So how do you police it?
Natasha, one thing we should keep in mind is in this particular case, Abhishek is being followed by the defense minister. Remember, she did not speak out against the Katwa rape incident last week, despite huge public outcry. He's being followed by Mahesh Sharma, who had 2 years back stated that women should not wear skirts and should not go out at night. So why are we even surprised? The fact is, if we ignore, the spread of communal hatred, it's a very slippery slope. We can't even avoid it. We can't address, and we can't avoid the issue. We can't not address the issue. We have to deal with it face to face. But the fact is, how do we deal with these people? They just want their fame. I want to ask Abhishek Mishra a very simple question, that before this particular incident, had he not gotten into taxis, had he not gotten into autos or rickshaws, at that time, did he ask the religion of his driver? If he flew by plane, did he ask the religion of his pilot? And if he found out that the pilot was Muslim, did he ask to be deplaned? So why has he suddenly come up with this whole Hindutva angle? I'm not understanding where it's coming from. His agenda is very, very clear. Remember, in our country recently, anybody who's making obscene remarks, who's propagating hate speech, who's making hate remarks against all minorities, whether they're Dalits, Muslims, or women, are making it to the front page. And this is despite our Prime Minister saying that he has to distance himself from these kind of motor mouths.
Really is it. Well, for those of you, I just want to just recap. We're getting lots of, comments there from people to know, just what is the best way to deal with it. Well, I think each company then just faces such situations. We're all getting familiar with the online world, what it entails, whether policing is possible, where do we draw the limits, what is okay, what is not. But what is perhaps hard to know is the kind of support that is coming up from Ola this evening. There's a large outpouring of those who are saying this is what we expect. But there's Shweta calling in this evening from Delhi. Go ahead, Shweta. Thanks for your call.
Hi, I just want to say that Ola has shown that businesses can have a conscience. It's not just about money, it's also about harmony. And I say that I'm going to write them more, and it's a comment that they've made which would reflect really well.